Starbucks and coffee for Michael? Everybody jumps up.
No, sometimes there's no love. It's a cruel world.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on another great movie. We have an audience of actors, and so I always actually love to go back to the beginning. And what got you into acting? Was there a movie or a person that, like, when you first, started watching films, you wanted to emulate or you looked up to?
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't actually go to the movies very often when I was a kid. When I was with my mom down in Kentucky, Kentucky, yeah, go Cats. Yeah, I was more of a TV guy, I guess, because TV was free and movies cost money. But I remember once I was visiting my dad up north, and I went to see Starman. And seeing Jeff Bridges in that movie and thinking, oh wow, that guy's doing something really interesting. It was the first time I remember being cognizant of the notion of great acting, I guess. I was watching him in that movie. And then, for me personally, growing up in Kentucky, most of the boys were into athletics. They're very sports territory down there. But you have to be really darn good to get on any of the teams. And I didn't have that kind of prowess, so I was just looking for something to do after school, really. And that's kind of how I stumbled into it. Speech team. That's how it started.
I love that you named Starman, not just because I love that movie, but like I could see you in a Starman reboot.
Wow. That's actually, I'm flattered by that.
That would be cool.
It would be cool.
It's a very specific type of performance.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff Bridges, he's one of the Hall of Famers, I'd love to work with him.
I was wondering if you'd ever met him. You've worked with everyone.
I met him once. I think it was a variety thing, actually, where you get like 5 actors sitting around on a couch.
Yeah, that's the name of the show.
Yeah, 5 actors sitting around on a couch.
I wish it was a couch. It's usually a table.
It was like a circular seating apparatus of some sort.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on such a timely, vital film. I thought that I was familiar with the story of Nuremberg, but this is such a unique take on it in a way. I never knew about therapists. I didn't really know about Berg. What did you know or think you knew about this story prior to reading James Vanderbilt's script?
Oh, not hardly much at all, really. I wasn't much of a history buff, or much of a student at all, really. So I didn't learn about it in school. And frankly, I had never even seen Judgment in Nuremberg, so I knew what it was. I knew why it happened, what the intention of it was, but I had never heard of Robert Jackson. I didn't know who he was, and I had no idea. I think it's kind of taken for granted. You just assume, oh yeah, they had a trial, that's what makes sense. But there was actually a monumental effort on his part to get it done. And there was a lot of opposition to it, which I found really bizarre.
Yeah, you just assume, of course there was a trial, it was open and shut, and absolutely not the case.
But it was the first time for a lot of, it actually set a lot of precedents. I believe it was the first time anybody was charged with crimes against humanity.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so wild.
It was the first international tribunal, and it was the first time they used film as evidence. And it was beautiful how, to me, it was very beautiful how important it was to establish the sense of international accountability. Long overdue, and unfortunately not adhered to as much as it should be. But gosh, in that particular moment, it worked.
Yeah. all of the above?
People, yeah, meeting people and getting a sense from them that I would enjoy, because it's very, as much as it's a work thing, it's also just, you're gonna be spending a lot of time with these people. But I think nowadays, I've been thinking about it, and in terms of, I get excited by the level of, the degree of difficulty, or the strangeness of what someone's asking me to do. Like, how far away is it from who I actually am? The biggest distance to travel, I guess.
Because, I mean, you've played a lot of different roles, so are you still, even now, learning new things about acting?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is my first courtroom drama. Yeah, never done that.
They don't make enough of them anymore. I love
Yeah, they're crunchy, but, and this was interesting because usually in the courtroom drama, the dynamic lawyer gets to parade around, cross over here and cross over there and come in. But for this one, it's like, no, you just have to stand behind the podium. You can't move the whole time. You're just going to stand there. And this is because that's what happened. I was like, okay. So much for my dramatic cross.
And then Richard E. Grant steals your big speech.
Well, Richard E. Grant, that's what really happened. Jackson, for all his abilities, really did lose his way in that examination. And David Maxwell Fyfe came and said, I got it, buddy. And he sealed the deal using information that he got from Dr. Kelly.
Wow.
That knowing that, because of Dr. Kelly's own examination of these patients, knowing that Goering could not disavow his allegiance to the Fuhrer under any circumstances.
I'm so caught up that you never did a courtroom drama. Like, all those years you never did Law and Order?
I mean, I did a Law and Order, but I wasn't in the courtroom.
Oh, really?
No, I played one of those parts, those tricky parts that they have where
The red
you
herring.
think, yeah, the red herring. You think I might be the guy who did it, but it turns out I'm a victim.
I always love when they do that. It's somebody like Martin Short.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to, like, you're not supposed to notice it's somebody really famous.
Yeah, there's a certain absurdity to, I mean, gosh, it just keeps going. I feel like it's been on for like 100 years.
I talked about a cumulative, I think it is.
Yeah, if you take all the different variations, the spin-offs.
You've played real people before. I mean, obviously, you're I'm going to say playing James Garfield right now on Death by Lightning, but I guess you shot that, but it's airing on a different streamer. Do you like having so much material to draw from, or is it sort of challenging finding that balance between, honoring a real person, but also you're playing a character?
Well, for me, in both of these instances, I was very grateful to be asked, flattered to be asked to play these two gentlemen, and through my research, came to admire them a great deal. I'm very happy that because of these projects, more people might get to know about these two gentlemen that not many people seem to know much about. So, and you can do it. And I always say, if you are captivated by what you see, it's a good idea to, if you're genuinely interested, to do more research yourself, because you're not really getting the whole story in either of those situations. But it's a good jumping off point. But Jackson had a huge career and was involved in a lot of significant cases over the years. Brown versus Board of Education springs to mind, and he also wrote a beautiful opinion about the way the Japanese were being treated in internment camps. So yeah, it's worth doing some more investigating. Yeah, but it is, you kind of hope, you do your research and then you hope that what you're making is close enough to what actually happened, not too manipulated or adulterated for entertainment's sake, because that always seems to be a bit unfortunate. But I think both of these stories are inherently interesting, don't need to be messed with too much. They seem to have plenty of drama.
I usually find the things that I think are made up are absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, there's this interesting thing that happened. I was on the subway in New York, and this guy comes up to me, and he says, "I saw Nuremberg, and I'm a lawyer, and I teach, about the Nuremberg trials, and I appreciated what you did with Mr. Jackson there, and he's like, but you know, that scene with the Pope." I was like, "What about it?" He's like, "Well, that didn't really happen." Like, "It didn't?" He's like, "Oh." I said, "Okay." And then I come out here to do this, and I was with Jamie yesterday up in Santa Barbara. I said, "Jamie, some guy on the subway told me that Jackson didn't meet with the Pope." And Jamie said, "Well, that gentleman is wrong. Jackson did meet with the Pope." I'm like, "God damn, I don't know who to believe." Yeah.
Well, he said he was a professor, I mean.
Yeah, aren't we all? Professor of Hard Knocks. Yeah.
I do think there's maybe not so much with Robert Jackson, because there's a lot of material on him, but people don't necessarily have an idea of what he looked like, or the way he spoke, things like that. So you have some liberty.
I do, although the trials pretty much in totality you can watch them on YouTube. Yeah, I did. I watched parts of them, but you can, like I said, if you were like, "Wow, I enjoyed that," you can go on YouTube and watch some of it and see, compare and contrast. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
He did. History was the only subject I ever failed in high school, and I always see movies like this and think, if they had taught it like this,
Right.
I wouldn't have failed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting. It really is.
Yeah. The only time I ever took an assignment in history seriously was when the history teacher said, "All right, I want you all, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to write a paper. You can make a little film or something, pick something out." I was like, "Oh, yes, I'll do that." And so I did, and I got an A. And
What did you do?
The Red Scare.
Did you make a movie?
Yeah.
No way.
A little video.
Is this your
it doesn't exist, and nobody can watch it.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not hidden?
Mr. Young has it in his basement. He's probably, I hate to say this, but he's probably passed. Mr. Young. Because it was a while ago that I was in high school. I know it's hard to believe.
You mentioned, working with people that you're going to be working with, and this cast is so fantastic from top to bottom. Rami Malek and John Slattery, and literally everybody. And I think you did kind of get close. Weren't you all staying in the same hotel or something?
Yeah. At the time, it was a Ritz-Carlton, although I've been back to Budapest since then, and it's not a Ritz anymore. And the bartender there was named Attila, and we thank him in the special thanks.
Do you really?
Yeah, but he doesn't work there anymore. He's gone. It's all gone. Yeah, it's sad.
Is the Ferris wheel gone? Wasn't there a
The Ferris wheel will never be gone.
Okay.
The Ferris wheel is immortal.
It's right outside.
Yeah, it's right outside the hotel. I'd stand on this little balcony and stare at the Ferris wheel and think, maybe I'll get on it sometime. And then I did eventually get on the Ferris wheel. Yeah.
Okay, it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's worth it. Because, it's a beautiful city, Budapest, and like the Parliament building there is so stunning. That's actually where we shot the scene with the Pope, because we couldn't get access to the Vatican. So we went to the Parliament. That was actually the first scene I shot. And yeah, it was intense. Like getting into the Parliament, there's lots of security, and felt very special to be there. And
Did you try to get the Vatican? Because they let conclave in.
did they?
No.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
No, they recreated all those sets.
Did
but
they?
you could have just borrowed those.
Yeah.
Where they store them.
I'm gonna make a movie about it.
Really?
Someday.
Really?
Someday. Before I die.
Like a thriller or a rom-com?
I don't know, the Sistine Chapel, something about the Sistine Chapel. Yeah.
The Sistine Chapel, they have someone who walks around and professionally shushes people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you can't get too loud and everyone will talk and then it'll start to rise and then it'll get loud so some people walk through and go shh. Yeah,
Is that,
that's their
is
job.
it sound waves like hurt the
I think that's the
plasma or
logic.
something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Disintegrate?
At least I think he worked there. He said
Yeah,
he did.
yeah.
Was there anything you learned in your research that, like, maybe that didn't even overtly make its way into the film, like, really informed you about this character? And I say character, recognizing that he's a real person.
Well, again, I think the thing that I was most astonished by was how difficult it was for him to do this, and how much opposition there was to it, and B, how he almost screwed it up. Those are the two things it's not the classical conclusion that we're all used to, he really did, it was interesting because I discovered that he didn't finish law school. Yeah, I guess back then he was a clerk, and so I think he literally worked his way up to the Supreme Court. But I've heard that he was very, very highly respected as a judge and as a legal mind, but his kind of Achilles heel was being in a trial and doing examinations. It wasn't his forte. Yeah, so it was pretty audacious of him actually to do it. Yeah.
Something I love about this movie, and it may sound weird, is that it's very funny in places. Hopefully I'm not the only one laughing, but when he's like, stop fighting your mental health professionals, always makes me laugh out loud. Do you find, what was the atmosphere sort of on set like, because you are dealing with these heavy subjects and obviously the weight of history, but are you able to have some levity? Do you find that sometimes the most serious sets you have to have fun on?
Oh, I guess it depends on the day and who's there and what you're shooting, I certainly wasn't standing around cracking jokes when I was about to examine Russell. I was a little preoccupied because we did that whole scene in one day, which is what Russell and I actually requested. They had scheduled it for 3 days, and we just thought that would make it actually more difficult. So we said, can we just do the whole thing and not break it up? And they let us. But so when you're in a situation like that, you're just super focused.
Why did you think it would be easier to not break it up? Because you got to come back and get that momentum again? Or?
Yeah, it's just closer to what it actually would be like,
But doesn't that mean less time with the scene?
Well, no, we got to do it. They brought in 4 cameras, and we did this scene 8 times. James, our director, says the takes were 25 minutes long. And I think you moderated. Did you moderate the Q&A with the editor?
No.
Tom? Yeah, you weren't there? I'm sorry. It was a little...
That's okay, they
It's
all
like
look
a-
like me.
No. But yeah, I remember talking to the editor. He's like, "Yeah, that was fun." I was like, "Dude, sorry, bro. Get over it. You're getting paid."
Not a lot of
Yeah.
good pans between those.
But yeah, it just seemed kind of the relentlessness of not being able to say, oh, well, come back tomorrow and do the rest, you know. It just lent, I mean, frankly, I just like being in situations where I forget I'm in a movie at all, which is more likely to happen during a 25-minute take than a 30-second take.
I would think that would be the hardest thing, especially coming from a theater background, is having someone stop you.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, the rhythm of like getting all jacked up and then like, okay, we got that, you go away, and then come back in an hour or something.
Yeah.
It's like, but I'm ready, let's go. And then, but I've gotten, over the years, I've gotten used to it. Now I just go like lay down. Because I remember when I was doing Kangaroo Jack, that masterpiece. I remember being in Australia and walking past, we're in this big, beautiful house. That was Christopher Walken's character's house. And I walked past this room, Christopher Walken was just laying on this couch, a beautiful old antique, like settee or something, just completely asleep. And I had never seen anybody do that at work. I was like, Jesus, isn't he? How do you go to sleep at work? You're so excited. I don't understand it. I'm just like so excited. And now it's like, oh, you don't need me? Okay. Yeah, okay, yep. Ready.
Okay, today I learned that Christopher Walken is in Kangaroo Jack.
You didn't know that?
No, I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Janelle. Nice to see you.
I saw Cecil B. Demented.
Well, why wouldn't you see it? It's a John Waters movie. It's one of our Hall of Famers. John Waters.
Do I need to go? Do I need to go complete your oeuvre by seeing Kangaroo Jack?
Oh, that doesn't. You don't have enough time to complete my oeuvre.
Have you seen all your movies? That's
No, Jesus.
Really?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, some of them just like, nice try.
What can you do though? Like, I assume everyone signs on to a movie in good faith and you don't know how it's going to turn out.
No, you don't. And a lot of times, you're like, ooh, editing. That's how they're editing this. Okay, interesting. Which I really, it was interesting when I actually I just directed a movie.
Yes, you did.
It's called Eric the Roo. If you haven't seen it, I think you can see it on
It's streaming.
computers or something. I don't know, see, I don't even know the lingo. This is what a Neanderthal I am. I think you technically, you have to rent it. Like it is, because it's not on Netflix, I don't think. It hasn't been sold in that way. But anyway.
If it's available on platforms, we say streaming.
Okay, then it's streaming. But it was interesting when I was in the editing process and finally realizing that it is extraordinarily difficult to make all those choices that I had been kind of callous about over the years. Yeah. There's a little bit of karma, I suppose. Yeah.
When did you see Nuremberg for the first time? Was it at the festival?
In Toronto.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
the Roy Thompson.
Yeah,
I
that's
just love that theater.
3,000 seats. I
Yeah.
know it played through the roof. Were you relieved? Were you happy with the result?
I love it. I love this film. I think it's extraordinary what James accomplished. The story of Dr. Kelly and Goering alone is enough. That's a movie, and that it was the original source material, The Nazi and the Psychiatrist, which is an amazing book. I highly recommend it. And then to try and also tell the story of the trial. And also add the story of this beautiful story of the Leo Woodall character, Howie Triest, who's also a real person. When Leo was at Telluride with another film he was in, the piano tuner, I think, or something. And the young woman tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around, and she said, I think you just played my grandpa.
No way.
Yeah, it was Howie's granddaughter. And she also said, yes, he would not like being called Howie. But Leo was like, it's too late.
Talk to the guy in the subway.
Yeah, and then Leo invited her. She was at the screening in Toronto. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, it was amazing.
That's so cool.
So the fact that he was able to fit all this in, I kept wondering when we were shooting, it's like, this isn't all gonna fit. Like something's gonna go.